Oh, you're in an open relationship. Did your boyfriend ask for that? No. No, he didn't. There's this narrative that exists. I see it on the internet. I see it in different areas, I suppose, that open relationships and non-monogamy and polyamory benefit the man more than the woman. And I take umbrage with this statement, because all the people that I know who are non-monogamous are non-monogamous themselves. They haven't been forced into a non-monogamous relationship. I think there's this dominant cultural narrative that a lot of people who are in open relationships or who are non-monogamous are kind of just doing it for their partner. The one part, it's like the traditional monogamous couple. One of them wants to be open and the other one doesn't, but the other one acquiesces because they want to stay with the partner. And of course that exists. Like, of course that is a portion of the people who are non-monogamous or practicing non-monogamy. That is representative of them. But for most of us who are in non-monogamous relationships, it's because we are non-monogamous. Each person in that relationship, however many people there are, however many people you're in relationship with, are all non-monogamous. So in those circumstances, this idea of non-monogamy only benefits the man kind of goes out the window, because it benefits everyone, because we're all non-monogamous. And I often wonder where that comes from. Like, is it latching on to that kind of antiquated idea that men are more sexually driven than women, that men enjoy intimacy and connection? That's not even what it is it? It's that men enjoy sex. That's the myth. Men enjoy sex and they want to just go out shagging with no consequences. That's the idea. And people apply that, I think, to non-monogamous relationships and assume that a man wants to do that because he just wants to get his end away. He wants to just, like, sow his wild oats all around the city. Which is kind of a funny concept, because non-monogamous relationships require so much more communication or, like, accountability and people you have to communicate to. Like, to be in a successful non-monogamous relationship, you can't just be shagging left, right and centre. Rewind. You can be shagging left, right and centre, but generally you have to communicate that to the other people you're in relationship with. And if you don't, your non-monogamy becomes very messy, people get hurt, and it doesn't really work. Non-monogamy so often isn't set up for people who just want to do what they want with no consequences. It works well for people who care deeply about the people who they choose to have in their lives. And yes, you can be a slut and have casual sex and all of that stuff, but you still have to have conversations about protection and boundaries and what you're doing, particularly if the boundaries of your relationship and the agreements of your relationship require you to do so. I think there's also this trope of, like, a man who asks for an open relationship and then his wife says, oh, okay, fine, we can try it. And then he has this vision of, like, what his life is going to be like, and it's going to be so easy to get dates and he's going to be doing this, that and that. But actually what happens is he struggles to find people who want to date him, and the woman finds it very easy to find people who want to have sex, who want to date, whatever. And that is often the reality for a lot of people who enter it in that way. There's, like, an expectation about who's going to benefit from it, and it often turns out to be not the person who initially asked for it. And then the person who originally asked for it is left feeling some type of way because their partner is really enjoying it and is really happy and is really fulfilled. What's that all about? So to answer the question, did my boyfriend ask for an open relationship? No, he didn't. I floated the initial conversation. We were living in different cities and I thought it'd be really hot if we went to a sex party together, because that was a fantasy that I had and our sex life was great, so he felt like a really safe person to do that with. And once we started exploring that, other doors started opening. You know, it was a very natural progression for us. I think I realised that I was polyamorous in the same way that a lot of people realise that they're polyamorous while being in a monogamous relationship, and realising, hey, no, I do have the capacity within me. I do have the ability to feel desire for multiple people, to care for multiple people, to have friends and lovers and relationships that blur the boundaries between all of those things, and those people can still be really important to me. Like, I can still really care about a friend if I have sex with them. Like, it doesn't need to turn into some specific type of like exclusive relationship. I am capable of that. I have capacity for that. And then eventually we started dating other people, and realized that that part of it was just as, if not rewarding, than the sexy desire part of it. Like, connecting with people, having new people in my life that I care about and that I enjoy spending time with. And sometimes it was difficult, and we stepped on each other's boundaries and realized that the boundaries we'd put in place were kind of self-serving there for what we thought we needed to be protected from. And over time, a lot of those have like melted away. And yeah, we went from realizing that we were two people who were in an open relationship to two people who were polyamorous in and of their own right. Like, my relationship orientation now, I don't see that as connected to my relationships. Like, if I suddenly had no partners, I would still be polyamorous. Like, that's who I am. That's how I want to love. That's how I want to organize my life. It always felt very easy and very natural to make these realizations about myself and to change the way that my relationships worked. And I reject this idea that non-monogamy best serves men. I also reject this idea that non-monogamy is a form of misandry. Apparently me having 2 boyfriends makes me a misandrist. Who knew? I didn't know. I actually thought it meant that I really loved men because I have 2 in my life. But okay, sure. Now it's just kind of a default that any relationship that I get into is a polyamorous relationship because I'm polyamorous. So it's not really a case anymore of like asking for an open relationship. Of course, we have to define our relationships and our agreements and what constitutes as showing up for each other and committing to each other and what counts as cheating on each other. Like, these are all things that we define within each relationship. It's not as cut and dry as like it's an open relationship. Each relationship is individual. I think that's just a solid way to approach any style of relationship, monogamous or non-monogamous, is to set the terms and define those things and get on the same page and have those conversations really early on, so you can collaborate on a vision of love together. If you like content about non-monogamy, you can follow me on Instagram, polyampoppy, where I post a lot more stuff, snippets, tidbits about relationships. And yeah, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next time.